transistor is the fundamental building block of all modern electronic devices, and its presence is ubiquitous in modern electronic systems. A transistor is a semiconductor device used to amplify or switch electronic signals. It is made of a solid piece of semiconductor material with at least 3 terminals for connection to an external circuit. A voltage or current applied to one pair of the transistor's terminals changes the current flowing through another pair of the terminals. Because the controlled output power can be much more than the controlling input power, the transistor provides amplification of the signal. Some transistors are packaged individually, but many more are found in integrated circuits. Before transistors, computers used vacuum tubes, and could be as big as this dumpster, and required a large room to store.
Before time began, there was the mechanical relay. This device was invented by Charles Babbage in the 1800s. However, he died in 1871 without his device ever being completed. The first amplifying vacuum tube was invented in 1906. This was a revolution when compared to the mechanical relay that was invented before it. The transistor, however, invented early, did not take any such privilege. This device was invented by Dr. J. Lilienfeld in 1923. However, this device was not widely commercialized and was not made known to the public. Therefore, his device was disregarded as if it never existed, although the patent was completed. In 1944, the first electronic device was comprised of sole vacuum tubes. Because of the disregard of the transistor, computers still maintained their vacuum tube counterparts. This computer was known as the ENIAC and was comprised of over 17,400 transistors. In addition to the disregard of the transistor, this also started a war between the vacuum tube and the transistor. This war lasted for over 2 decades. However, the vacuum tube eventually conceded defeat in 1947 when Bell Labs re-commercialized and reinvented the transistor in 1947. This device eventually went on to win the Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 1956.
There are several different types of transistor in use today. I shall explain the most commonly used transistor in integrated circuits, the MOSFET transistor. MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. The reason it's called as such is that the gate used is metal with usually an oxide insulator between the material of the gate and the main silicon body, the semiconductor of the transistor. Now, there are several different variations of the transistor. I shall go with the base of the NPN MOSFET transistor, which would be the source semiconductor of silicon, and the drain part of the silicon would be doped for negative, which means it readily conducts negative charges. Whereas the base of the main body of the silicon would be doped for positive. Now, how the transistor actually functions is, in an off state with low voltage being applied to the base, the silicon, where the 2 different types of silicon meet, it forms a resistor. Once an electric current is applied to the gate, it forms an electronic field between the gate and the base, which is at the bottom of the silicon. What this does is it will either draw away positive or negative charges. In the case of this transistor, it will create holes in positively doped silicon that will allow electric current to pass through one side and out the other. Now, another effect of the transistor is if a signal is applied to the gate, the conductive path through the silicon will vary in tune with the signal, effectively overlaying the signal onto a more powerful current that is passing through between the source and the drain.
An integrated circuit is a miniaturized electronic circuit consisting mainly of semiconductor devices as well as passive components that have been manufactured in the surface of a thin substrate of semiconductor material. Now, these devices have been improving over time ever since the production of the transistor. Moore's law is a statement that this will happen every 18 months to 2 years in each new generation of computer. And this will basically double the speed and processing power, and this trend is not expected to end until 2015 or later.
The future of transistors.
It is plain to see that the transistor has evolved and progressed over the many years. Even though it has progressed so much, there are still much more to come. In 2001, Bell Labs announced the creation of an organic transistor. Yes, I know it sounds weird, but it is organic. In 2005, HP proposed an alternative for the transistor with no semiconductor. And in 2009, Bell Labs announced the first functional molecular transistor. And in 2010, IBM unveiled the Common transistor. All of these show that the transistor is not stuck technologically, but is still advancing exponentially, meaning it is wide open for the future.
So faithless, lost under the surface. Don't know what you're expecting of me. Put under the
As of today, we are now.
Huh? Might want to speak louder.
Let's keep going. Okay.
All modern. Okay, restart it. Cut.
And molecules, but no silicon. In 2009, Bell Labs announced the first. This computer was dynamic.
The future of transistors.
You got it.